How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? It's a little late, but better late than never. Been a busy day for you, boy, working a lot, but we are here. We have a game on Sunday. 49ers, Steelers, week one. It is finally here. Finally, we are here and gathered around to talk about the first game of the season, the first game that matters, the first actual regular season game. I'm excited. I hope you are. What's up, Sure, Gail, Throwback, everybody else in the building? How are we doing? I'm hyped. I hope you guys are good. What's up, Flood? What's up, PHX602? How are we feeling? How's everybody's Friday doing? I'm hyped up, man. I can't wait. Whew. Susan says she's nervous. So nervous. I'm nervous too. Oh, man. Casey losing yesterday was definitely a good way to start the season. Oh, man. Stephen Reynolds says, I got positive in the morning. I hope the Niners makes my day. Yeah, well, I think we all want to see this win. I'm ready for Sunday morning, says Shergo. LFG, let's go. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. We made it, says Forever Faithful 49. There's a game this weekend, and I'm excited. 49ers, Steelers, week one. The 49ers traveled to Pittsburgh today. They flew in an airplane. That's what you fly. Can't fly a bird. You fly an airplane. Helicopter can't fit that whole team in there. 53 players plus coaches. They flew an airplane to Pittsburgh, whatever you want to say. And they're playing the Steelers. And that stadium's going to be rocking. It's the home opener for Pittsburgh. They got a great coach, Mike Tomlin. You got to respect Minka Fitzpatrick. You got to respect TJ Watt. They got some dogs on that team. Got some great receivers. You got Najee Harris at running back. They're good. They have a lot of, upside this season. They're in a gritty, conference division in their conference, just like the 49ers. We're a hard-fought team, a very gritty team. But you know what? Nicholas John Bosa signed his contract today. Official. Quill pen. Did you see the quill pen he used today? Look at the red feather. It was really official. He has signed the dotted line. He's back. He was in practice. He was hyped up. Him and Fred Warner flexing, jumping in the air. You gotta love that. You love to see it. John Lynch and Bosa. I mean, it was the strongest dap up I've seen in a long time. Like, that was the crispiest dap ever. It was like, it sent like shockwaves. Like, it just seemed like a lot of frustration and everything just in that dap between those two. It just got everything off their chest that they needed to. I was like, that's a strong ass dap from Lynch and Bosa. Like, yeah, they needed. They dapped it with their chest. You know how you usually say it with your chest? They really did. They were ready. That was a manly ass dap up. That was it. And that just shows, like, man, we are here. We got Bosa in the building. He's signed. No more excuses. Let's get to work. And you can just feel the momentum has shifted. You could feel like the adrenaline. Just Nick Bosa has shot them like adrenaline in the cannon. And this Sunday, Nick Bosa is inevitable. This guy is a monster. He's built different. He's larger than life. A superstar, a megastar, if you will. This man came in. He is in tremendous shape. And that's why they didn't worry about him all off season. That's why Kyle and John said, you know what, we don't worry about Nick being in shape. And that's one thing John said today. He was on KNBR and he said, listen, man, I've never seen a guy like this in just amazing shape. He keeps himself so disciplined, so amazingly just in shape. The way he just makes sure he's head and shoulders above everybody else. Like, you don't have to worry about it. He might be in better shape than he was last year. He didn't have training camp. He didn't have preseason. He sits there in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with his brother, and they train like nobody trains, out in the league. And it's amazing. He probably hasn't missed a beat. He probably won't miss a beat. And, Bosa was talking today in his press conference, and he said, listen, I feel like I could go a full game, like a full snap count. Like, Nick Bosa's ready to roll. He's coming out, and he wants to play as much as he can play. Now, I'm sure they have a plan. I'm sure they got a pitch count. But if Nick Bosa wants to be out there and he feels like he's ready to go, Nick Bosa is going to be out there and he's going to play because that's Nick Bosa. He's making $170 million. I'm sure they got a plan, but Nick Bosa is going to dictate what he needs to do out there. I feel very confident in that. And again, Nick Bosa is just built so different. It's going to be amazing how Nick comes out this weekend. I mean, I know the weather. I've heard different things. Maybe it's raining. Maybe it's not. It's supposed to rain before the game in the Pittsburgh area. I don't know. It's supposed to rain after the game. Who knows if it's going to actually rain on the field on Sunday? There is a chance that it will rain. Who knows? I mean, if it does, it will dictate a very sloppy, gritty, run the ball defensive game. If the 49ers have to get into a defensive game, hey, I'm all for it. Pittsburgh 49ers, two great defenses. Let them hit each other in the mouth and let the run game dominate. That means CMC will be the man, center stage for the 49ers. This is the first full year of Christian McCaffrey on the 49ers offense, and I'm excited. He came in midway in the season last year, and he cooked. I mean, he dominated. He was putting up yard after yard. He probably should have won Offensive Player of the Year, but, it is what it is. Running backs don't get a lot of respect in this league, but in the 49ers offense, running back is vital, and I think Christian McCaffrey is going to go off tomorrow. Sunday. He's going to go crazy, and I think he's really going to come out and set the tone. I think he could have 100 yards on the ground easily. I mean, and they're going to pepper him in the passing game. Like, that's the security blanket, is Christian McCaffrey. He's going to hit the corners. He's going to hit the edges, and I think Christian McCaffrey has a huge game, and they're going to run the ball, smash the ball down their throats. That's 49er football, and I think he's about to go crazy. Christian McCaffrey, I'm excited to see what he does. First full year as a 49er. Holy smokes. Susan says Bosa wants to prove he was worth the wait, and I think he's going to prove that he is worth the money. All 170 M's in the bank account. I think he gets 2 sacks. I think Nick Bosa is going to go ahead and prove himself again. He doesn't need to worry about being in shape. The guy's better shape than everybody else that was in the training camp. So it's incredible. And again, the energy he's brought to this team, it's like a weight was lifted off her shoulders, like we were saying all the other days. Like you could just feel it. They've injected this team with a shot of adrenaline. Forget adrenaline. He injected them with a shot of espresso. Like, this is just vibe, energy through the roof. You can feel it. You can just feel it. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. My man, Nick Bosa, 97. I'm going to wear every single piece of Bosa merch I have this weekend. I will be rooting for the Bear. 97. I'll be sweating because it's long sleeve. I don't care. And we got the Nick Bosa jersey. I got a shirt I got to wash. I think this shirt is actually, it says Nick Bosa on the back. I mean, I can't pull my shirt out, but it says Bosa in the back. I wore it to work today. We're wearing every single piece of Bosa merchandise this week because I'm excited for Nick Bosa. I don't know about you guys, but again, getting back to the game, Nick Bosa is amazing. He's going to be the X factor for the 49ers defense. But on the Steelers defense, they got a guy named T.J. Watt. This guy is a game changer, just like Nick Bosa is. We got to watch out for him. The 49ers offensive line will have their hands full. I don't think that they're going to throw T.J. Watt on Trent Williams. I think they're going to try to rush towards Colton Malkovich. We call him Malkovich. He has to earn being called McKivitz, his government name. Colton McKivitz has a tough task in his 5th career NFL start. He's taken over at right tackle, and he is going to have a tough task against T.J. Watt. It is not going to be an easy task for Colton McKivitz. It's going to be a tough one for him, and I think that is going to be one of the marquee matchups for the 49ers to win. They're going to have to use the tight end. They're going to have to use, hopefully, Kittle's ready to roll. He's questionable with the groin injury. Kyle Shanahan, he's, expecting him to play. He was, back into practice this week. They eased him in. I think he'll play, but who knows how effective he'll be coming off the groin injury. He did have a little bit of a tweak in that Chargers game, preseason game, according to Kyle Shanahan. So we'll see. I think he will play. I hope he does play because we need him to help chip on the edge against T.J. Watt, but Kyle Juszczyk as well. You got to look at Kyle Juszczyk. He's a guy that has to be out there and help because we cannot let Brock Purdy, we can't let his dirty get jersey. We got to see Brock Purdy healthy. We got to see him protected. We got to keep that man upright because Brock Purdy, I think, can really run this offense. I think it's going to be a very efficient game plan for Brock. He comes in, he controls this offense very well. We saw it in the preseason. He looks very healthy. He looks like the rehab went well, moving the ball down the field. He led them down to scoring drives, took them to the red zone multiple times in the preseason. He didn't even have Trent Williams and CMC that last game. So you got Debo ready to rock and roll. You got Brandon Ayuk contract season. He's about to ready to roll. Kittle and CMC and Elijah Mitchell, all these guys are ready to roll. So I think Brock Purdy will have a good, efficient game. And you know what? On the other side of the ball, you got Patrick Peterson. He's been running his mouth, as we know. We were talking about it yesterday. Patrick Peterson predicts an interception. Is getting messy. They're already talking, and I'm sure Brock Purdy wants to go out there and prove himself and showcase why he's, the guy that the 49ers chose as captain. He was Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft, third quarterback, and now he's the captain. He's QB1. He's got a lot to prove still, because people are doubting him. People are saying it was a fluke. People are saying it was just beginner's luck. People do not respect Brock Purdy, and they expect him to fall off a cliff. All the hype is on Kenny Pickett, the Steelers' quarterback this year, second-year quarterback, just like Brock Purdy, both second-year quarterbacks. Everybody's gassing up Kenny Pickett, and I get it. He was good in college. I like him. He has talent. He's on a good team, good weapons around him. I get it. I respect him. He played good in the preseason, but everybody is gassing up Kenny Pickett, and they're not giving any respect to Brock Purdy. And I think Brock Purdy's going to showcase why he's QB1, and he's going to really run this offense like a well-oiled machine, like he does. And I think that's going to be a big matchup, the quarterbacks. How's Kenny Pickett going to go up against Nick Bosa? How is he going to go up against Fred Warner, Drake Greenlaw, and this nasty front line? You also have Javon Hargrave finally getting in there playing with Bosa this weekend. Hargrave, Bosa, Armstead, that 49ers defensive line is going to be electric. Whew, I can't wait. Kenny Pickett, I don't think he's seen a front like this. No, not a lot of people see a front like the 49ers defensive front, man. And they are built different. You got Talanoa Hufanga, man, coming off a massive, huge second-year all-pro season. Tayshaun Gibson. These guys are ready to cook, and I'm excited. Ryan says, I'll say it because nobody else will. I think Pickett is a bust. Jury's still out. We'll see, but he hasn't played a defense like the San Francisco 49ers. That's all I'm going to say. I predict he'll throw 2 interceptions. I think Talanoa Hufanga might get one, and I think Fred Warner could get a pick. I mean, this is the guy that everybody's touting up to have this big breakout season, and I think he will have a decent season, but not against the 49ers. This defense is too high-powered. You got Bosa coming back. They are just on another mindset right now. George Jindo, this is a great question. This is one of the other marquee matchups. You got Pickens, Steelers receiver. This guy is a highlight reel. We can't even lie to ourselves. Steelers have good receivers, and Pickens is probably the best of their bunch. He is a great receiver. I mean, he's made some one-handed grabs out there. You've seen the highlights. I like Pickens. He's a good receiver. I'll give him his respect. Mooney Ward, he was back in practice today. He has been dealing with the heel injury. How's that going to fare against him going up against Pickens? Pickens is quick, dynamic, good route runner. Guy has great ability to catch, unlike, Kadarius Toney. This guy has hands. This guy can catch pretty much anything. So it's going to be a tough matchup for Mooney Ward and Diamond Lenore on the other side. Because, again, they got other receivers. Deontay Johnson is going to be tough. But Mooney Ward, Pickens, marquee matchup. Your CB1, their wide receiver one. How's the heel going to affect Mooney Ward? They're saying he's okay. He's questionable. He did come back to practice. Kyle Shanahan yesterday said he expects Mooney Ward to play. But a heel injury can really slow you down. I hope it doesn't slow him down too much because Pickens is the real deal. That might be a matchup that keeps the Pittsburgh Steelers in the game. Definitely can see that keeping them, up close to the 49ers as the game progresses. But I do think the 49ers will pull away because of the turnovers. That's going to be the key. The 49ers defense has to get some turnovers. And I feel like the 49ers offense is very high-powered. Now, I get it. Steelers are good. They have great defensive players. They're at home, so it does bode well for them in a certain aspect. I think that, they should be able to get off to a good start. The crowd's going to be in it. But the 49ers, they have a very, very good offense. Again, they were one of the most efficient offenses when CMC came in and Brock Purdy took this offense. It was, like I said, well-oiled machine. They clicked on all cylinders, and when they are clicking like that, it's hard to stop the 49ers. And last year, Deebo Samuel wasn't even in tip-top shape. He was getting hurt. George Kittle and Brock Purdy really found this rhythm. Brandon Ayuk started to emerge, and I think he's going to be even better this year. Brandon Ayuk is going to be even better. And Christian McCaffrey, I'm excited to see what he's about to put down this year as a running back in a full first season in the 49ers. So I'm excited. Again, this offense is very, very stout, very strong. But the O-line, again, will be an X factor. I like everybody. Right tackle is going to be, a question. Can they stop Pittsburgh from blitzing? And that's going to be one of those keys. Mike Tomlin's a very good coach. It's going to be a chess match between two very smart head coaches, Tomlin, Shanahan. This should be fun, man. Like, you got to give Tomlin his respect. Guy's been one of the best coaches I've seen in the last 2 decades. So you know he's going to bring you out there. He's going to scheme stuff up. He said he prepared like Bosa was going to play. I'm glad he did because Bosa's going to play. So for him, kudos to him. But prepare all you want. It's still Nick Bosa. You can chip him out with the tight end. Most teams like to hold him 1,000 times, but he still gets through and eventually makes a big difference at some point in the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they block Nick Bosa in his first game back. Well, I mean, everybody's first game back, but like his first like real action in playoff season, and this is his first game since he signed the contract, and you know he wants to go out there and prove he's worth every single penny. I'm hyped up. My man Minded says we better get the Steelers in 3rd and long, and that's a key because if you can get a second-year quarterback, a young quarterback in a bad position, back him up. You back him up, you can get the pressure. You can start dialing in those blitzes. You can start taking those things. You can start being a little bit more aggressive, which I think Steve Wilkes wants to be a little bit more. I think he wants to dial up the pressure just more than the 49ers are accustomed to, although they get home, they get to the quarterback, but that's because Bosa can kind of get that pressure off the edge. But now again, Hargrave in the middle with Bosa, if it's 3rd and long, good luck to these quarterbacks. And you got to remember, when the 49ers play a non-mobile quarterback or a stationary quarterback, drop back guy, they usually cook these guys. They eat them up. Good luck to Kenny Pickett. Yeah, you can never be prepared for Nick Bosa. You got to stop the run, Jimmy. You're absolutely right, especially in this type of game. It's going to be a very gritty, physical game. They're going to want to run the ball down each other's throats. Both teams, they're both physical. Steelers, we know how Tomlin is. They want to hit you in the mouth and make you black and blue, but so do the 49ers. I think that they're going to be all players are going to be sore after this game. Sunday night, it's going to be a hot tub, ice tub season. It's going to be a very physical game. First game back, too. You know, there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises after this one. Throwback says Purdy is mobile, too. Yeah, he's a lot more mobile than people give him credit for. He's got some wheels. He's got a good escapability. You know, if he has to, you know he can escape the pocket. And I'm excited for that because people don't give Purdy the credit that he deserves in terms of his mobility. So I'm excited to see that for sure. How are the Steelers cornerbacks? I think they have a rookie on one side, and then they got Patrick Peterson. So that's their quarterbacks. Patrick Peterson, great quarterback 8 years ago. No disrespect, but there is some disrespect because he's been disrespecting the 49ers. He's sitting there saying because he knows every single tell the 49ers are going to do, he's going to be able to pick off the pad. Listen, man, I think I get it. I'm sure there are some things you can see in film, but man, Patrick Peterson, let's slow your roll because if you don't get a pick, if you get cooked up, you're about to become a meme this weekend, and I can't wait. I really hope that Patrick Peterson gets put in his place. He's had a good career, but I mean, he's been in the league for a long time, a very long time. So he needs to pump the brakes. And I think they got a rookie on one side of the ball. So I'm sure that the 49ers are going to move Ayuk around and put him on the rookie, Joey Porter. That's his name. Rookie Joey Porter Jr. I really hope that the 49ers give this young man, Joey Porter, welcome to the NFL, welcome to the big leagues type of moment. Deebo Samuel, oh God, he's going to eat this boy alive. You hit him in his mouth. All you got to do is make Deebo hit him hard. He'll tuck his tail between his legs, and then you have Deebo. Then you have Brandon Ayuk route him up. Game over. And then Patrick Peterson is going to get cooked. So that's the corners for the Steelers. You know, one guy I'm excited. I'm kind of interested to see the Steelers though a little bit. They got some good players on their defense. They got Quan Alexander. That's going to be pretty good though. That's going to be pretty cool to see the Quan Alexander, Fred Warner, you know, and Dre Greenlaw reunion. That's going to be pretty cool actually. So I'm excited to see that. You know, they're going to meet up. They're going to dap up before the game. Hot boys, you know. You remember when Quan was on the team. So that'll be pretty cool to see, but I don't know if Quan can keep up with Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, who are going to be running all over this field. So We'll see. We shall see how it goes with you know these linebackers. Steelers again. They have a very good team. They have a very hard nosed defense, and I think that's not going to be easy to beat them. But you have Kyle Shanahan, who's very good at scheming. So yeah, Hayward's good. Minka's good. TJ Watt, absolutely. Trent versus Watt says gloomy. I hope they try to match Trent up with TJ Watt at times. But I mean, if you could only think that Mike Tomlin's going to move, TJ Watt to the other side and match him up against Colton. I mean, that's if I'm Tomlin, I know I'm going to do that at parts of the game. So we're going to drop 30 on him at least, gloomy. That was my prediction. I think the 49ers offense is just going to be too much. And I really feel this offense is being overlooked. People forgot that this 49ers offense, when CMC came in, they took off. They were scoring 30 points a game last year. They were one of the most efficient offenses in the NFL. They didn't look back. They won the 12 straight games, and they were on a heater. They lost to the Chiefs, and after that, they didn't look back. So I think the 49ers are going to put up 33 points. I think it'll be close initially. Again, home field for the Steelers. They got a good young team. They'll play tough. They might give the 49ers defense a few fits with their receivers because they do have some good receivers. But I think ultimately Kenny Pickett will throw some pickets. He'll throw some pick sixes or whatever you want to say. He's going to get diced up by this defense. They're going to figure him out. And Nick Bosa is going to dial in some pressure, and he's going to cause some interceptions. He's going to get 2 sacks. Hargrave is going to dial up the pressure. That's going to cause some issues. And I think the pressure is going to get to Kenny, and he's going to throw 2 interceptions. And those 2 interceptions will definitely lead to scores, and that's going to be the difference. 17-33. That's the way I see it. I think it's going to be 17-33. That's my final score. And again, I think it's because this offense is going to be very efficient, and the defense will end up with getting 2 turnovers. I know it's a 2-point spread right now, or 2.5, but I really see the 49ers pulling away at the end. It'll be closer than the score says, though. Matthew says, I just hope we don't start the game asleep. Yeah, it is one of those things where it could be a slow start for the 49ers. They're traveling to the East Coast, early game. Sleep schedule's a little messed up. Your internal clock's a little off, That's going to be tough. I do not like early games on the road, East Coast games. For them, they're used to the time. For them, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. For us, it's early. It's early. So I do notice that sometimes these players look gassed out, look tired early in the morning, still trying to wake up. So it could be one of those games where they start off a little slow, but I'm sure that they're still going to be riding the high of Nick Bosa signing the other day. So I think that really helped them out. We talked about this earlier on the Instagram, that I feel like even though this whole drama, hit this high point and we were stressed out about the contract and everything, I feel like at some point it actually, in a way, is helping the 49ers because now they got past all the distractions. Nobody's worried about the quarterback issue. Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited in the locker room. The team is hyped up. Nick Bosa has given this team the stress off their shoulders. Like, it just lifted all the pressure on them that they've been dealing with. All the media asking them, what about Bosa? What about Bosa? What about Bosa? Oh, my God, quarterback. And it just took all that pressure off, and now they're, like, ready to focus on Pittsburgh, Jimmy says, is this the only 10 a.m. game? No, I'm pretty sure we have a few other ones this season, and I'm not looking forward to those either. Minded, my man Bash says the vibe is a bit nicer now. Yeah, it absolutely is. Absolutely great vibe. You can just see, like, the sense of everything is just starting to come together. I feel like that's kind of again, like I said, a shot of adrenaline, and that's good going into week 1. A road game. You can now focus on the prize ahead. I don't think they were really being able to focus this week coming into, this game until they got Bosa. All week, we got to prepare like Bosa's not here. You could just see, like, they were gloomy in the locker room, and now, turn up, baby. Fred Warner is hyped. They're screaming, they're yelling, they're excited, they're smiling. Kyle Shanahan smiling. I haven't seen that man smile like that in ages. Yeah, Ariel, we do have to get off to a fast start. Not in just this game, but in the season. The 49ers can't afford to lose games like they have in the past and then all of a sudden turn it up. And it's great when they do. It makes for a good season. It makes for cinema. It makes for fun season to be like, oh my god, what a roller coaster! We're winning these games. Heck yeah, we're on a roll. But you get off to a slow start, you dig yourself in a grave, and then you have to win. You have no choice if you want to make it far. You start winning all those games and digging deep, fighting adversity. By the time the playoffs come, you're so tired. You're going to be tired anyways because the NFL is a knockdown, drag out war. But the more you have to put into it, I mean, later down the line, you're going to be exhausted, gassed out. And I feel like that is why you have to get to a hot start. You can afford a few lulls here and there early in, late in the season, maybe mid-season, you drop a game and you kind of hit the reset button and then get back onto a streak. But when you're 3-5, you're down bad. You're kind of down, at the pit of the barrel, and you're kind of scratching. You're like, we have to turn it around. 3-5, 3-6, something like that, and you have to rack up, 8, 9 wins in a row at least. Man, it takes a lot of energy out of you because you're going to be exhausted, and you're going to be exhausted regardless whether you go 12-2 to start the season, and then you still have a great start to the season. You're going to be tired regardless, but you are going to be more tired when you have to overcome that huge hole that you dig. So I do hope the 49ers get off to a strong start, and it starts this weekend with the dub against Pittsburgh. So, my man Throwback says Juwan Jennings will have a good game. He will piss Steelers defense. Yeah, he's gonna piss them off. He's an enforcer. The 49ers, the enforcers, the bullies, Bay Area bullies. They're going to hit him in the mouth. Debo Samuel, tuck your canes in, right? He's going to make Patrick Peterson, he's going to snatch his cane, right? Because Patrick Peterson, he's probably a 90-year-old guy out there trying to play cornerback against these young guys. He's going to need a retirement home. He's going to need to be in a skilled nursing facility after this game. Debo Samuel is about to hand this man a cane and snatch it from him. He's going to be, snatch your canes, baby. That's how Debo Samuel's coming in on Sunday. I'm telling you, Patrick Peterson I really can't wait until the 49ers play on Sunday because Patrick Peterson really, really saying too much. So I'm going to say Patrick Peterson's going to get hit by Debo, get snatched up, and then Ayuk get snatch his ankles. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Yeah, George, if you know, you know. Shout out to my boy George. Came up with that line. That's a good one. We are using that line this weekend if Debo hits him with the oof. 1,000 watts says, come Sunday around 4 Eastern. It's going to be a lot of pissed off Niner fans. Go Steelers. I hope not. But, my man Watts, if the 49ers lose, there will be a lot of pissed off Niner fans. If the Steelers lose, it's going to be a lot of pissed off Steelers fans. You can say either way. So, end of the day, it is what it is. Let the best team win, and I hope it's the Niners. We're going to smack y'all up. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Come back on Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern. We'll talk. We'll talk ball. And I hope that one of us isn't crying. I mean, if the 49ers lose, I'll be man enough to say 49ers lose. So we'll see. But enjoy watching Kenny Pickett get eaten alive by the bear. That's all we got to say. Boogie says, I hope last night's game showed Kyle how to close out Mahomes and the Chiefs. When having a lead, you got to not be conservative. You got to put the pedal to the metal. You absolutely have to be you got to be gutty against them. You cannot be conservative. So you're absolutely right. If it ever comes down to the point where we get to, the Niners play the Chiefs, you're right. You have to put the pedal to the metal. They had them a couple years ago on the ropes. I don't want to bring that one up, but you're absolutely right. My man Throwback says it's going to be a close game. I've said that all week until these last few days. I just feel like the momentum has shifted. If the 49ers could come out with energy, if they don't start slow, I really feel the 49ers are going to come out and the interceptions, they'll get some turnovers on Kenny Pickett. I do worry that, TJ Watt's going to get in and cause some trouble. Minka Fitzpatrick's a great, defensive back. I do worry about him a little bit, but, he got his last time we played. He was a young buck when we played him last time, 2019. That game was god awful. That was a awful game. I was at that game, Levi Stadium. I mean, both teams were just turning it over. It was such an ugly game, man. Luckily, the Niners ended up scraping that win away, getting that win away. I remember Dante Pettis, out of all people, game-winning touchdown, and I remember everybody was just going crazy. Dante Pettis game winner. Holy smokes. I could not believe it. It was like poetic justice. Dante Pettis game winning touchdown. It was crazy. It was a wild game. Wild game. I hope it doesn't come down to a game winning field goal or a game winning. I will be so stressed out. But hey, if they win, I'll be happy. But those games really, they turn my stomach, man. Boogie says Ayuk is going to have Peterson fighting for his life. I really, really think that Peterson, oh man, he should have just kept his mouth shut. That's all I got to say. He's never had an interception against Kyle Shanahan led team. 9 games he's played Kyle Shanahan team. A team Kyle Shanahan either as OC or whatever the case, head coach. And he's never had an interception, so good luck to him. Throwback says Jake Moody has yet to prove himself. Yeah, he's got a lot to prove. Not just this game, but this whole season. Jake Moody, man, 3rd round kicker. That was stressful. A 3rd round kicker. Preseason was not good to him. I do hope that if he gets into a pressure cooker situation this Sunday, that he can kind of deliver. He is coming off a quad injury. That's not good for a kicker. When you have a leg injury, it's just not. So hopefully it doesn't come to bite us in the ass. Hopefully it doesn't affect his accuracy. Hopefully it doesn't affect his kicking distance. I mean, this is tough to have a kicker with a quad injury. I know it's to me, it's something that's like being swept under the rug. And I get it. They say he's healthy. They're being precautionary, blah, 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 blah. I'm worried. I'm still worried. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm worried about the kicker until he proves himself. Because you're right, throwback. Until the kicker proves himself, I'm not sold. And I love Jake Moody. I'm a huge Moody fan. I watch Michigan football. I root for them all the time. Love Harbaugh. I rooted for Michigan. My sister went there for her second master's, long time back. But she went there. Like, I have an affinity to Michigan. So I've watched these guys. I've watched Moody play all his college games there. I went to the big house many times. And I don't know, man. I'm worried about the guy. It's tough. Again, pressure has been on him since the day he drafted. Niner fans threw their arms in the air. And it wasn't in a good way when he was drafted. Because we were like, what are you doing, Kyle? There was a lot of players that they could have drafted. Offensive linemen, cornerbacks, a lot of players they could have added that can really help this team. And I'm not saying Jake Moody can't help this team because they needed a kicker. And I get why Kyle did it. They didn't have a starting kicker, and that was the only position they needed a starter in. I get the whole process. They didn't pay, Robbie Gould. He left in free agency, and they kind of parted ways. And was their way of saying, oh, we'll replace Robbie Gould with the best kicker in college. And sometimes the best kicker in college doesn't always pan out in the pros. A lot of times, the kickers that are drafted highly, they got a lot of pressure on them. And right now, Jake Moody has an absolute ton of pressure on his shoulders. So we'll see. Is it a rain game? I've heard different things. It says there's a 65% chance of raining in the area, but we don't know. It doesn't say it's going to rain during kickoff. So the rain starts later in the day. I looked at the weather app earlier. It says the rain's going to start at 4. So maybe it's going to be raining after the game. Who knows? HR says Seabass was a great pick by Al Davis. Probably the best kicker drafted early. First round. Was he a first round? Sebastian Janikowski, first round kicker. No, first round kicker is crazy. A first round kicker is crazy. Matthew says it's not too late to call Robbie back with that cap space. You're absolutely right. It's not too late now. Niners created a little bit of a cap space, opening the other day when they restructured Kittle and Trent Williams. You know what my thing is? Remember what we said the other day? We said, the 49ers, when they did this, the 49ers like to do midseason type moves. If there's a snitch in this, if there's like a hitch in this 49ers roster at some point and they're like, oh, we got to fix this. Maybe they get Robbie Gould midseason. Maybe if they're going to give Jake Moody his chance, they're going to let this kid go out there and earn their respect and prove himself. You owe it to Jake Moody. You drafted him in the 3rd round. Let him go out there and earn his keep and see if he can prove himself. But if he doesn't, if he's struggling and you're missing kicks, go get Robbie Gould. Maybe that's what they do. Hendrix, my man, I'm good. How you doing? Art says the 41ers. Oh, so original. So original, Art. Art. That's original. You're the first person that ever said that. Congrats to you. Very original. Spicy. The Spy Nick Dangerous says go Niners. Hit the like button. Let's go, man. Let's hit that like button. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How we doing? How we doing tonight? It is Friday night, and we got less than 2 days till game time. I'm hyped up, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. I know you can't tell my voice because I'm exhausted, but I'm so high. I've been juiced up all day at work. That's all we've been talking about. VZ says what do you say? What is Robbie doing? No, he's not on a team. He's taking care of his family. He's a family man. Art, you did get me to comment. Appreciate you. HR, other than nerves, how is kicking in college different than NFL? I mean, obviously it's nerves. It is still nerve-wracking to kick in front of a college state, in college football. I mean, especially Michigan, the big house. I don't know if you've ever been there. Woo! Nerve-wracking. Big game situation, playing Ohio State. Tough games, if you play in the big, in other big stadiums. I mean, it is nerve-wracking to kick in college, but in the NFL, you're getting paid. Your livelihood. This is your career. Your job is on the line sometimes. You have to make these kicks. People like this is big time. Fantasy is on the line. And games are on the line. You miss a game, winning field goal in the NFL, people are going to send you messages and death threats and they're going to roast you. It's a little different. It's a lot more pressure when it's in the big leagues. When it's in the pros like college and school football, high school athletics, there's pressure, but the pressure is even more because there's a lot more at stake in the NFL. There's money involved, right? So much more. Winning playoffs, championships, all that stuff is on the line in the NFL. My man Flood says he's happy to put the drama behind him. Yeah, and that's why the Nick Bosa move was so good for this team. It's over. The drama's over. Now we can focus on winning games and focusing on the rest of the team. Like, I mean, all we were posting about was Nick Bosa, Nick Bosa. I mean, we're still spamming Nick Bosa because it's cool to see all this hype content, him signing and all that stuff. But I mean, regardless, it's not like tension. It's not like, oh my God, is Nick going to sign? Who's he going to sign? Is he going to sign? Oh my God, pay Nick Bosa. Like, it's not bad. It's just exciting. It's exciting to see all the great highlights and like Nick Bosa signing and the team being juiced. So you're right. We can actually focus on the game this weekend and talk about the players on the other side of the ball. Talk about the marquee matchups, right? TJ Watt, Colton Malkovich. You got, Ward and Pickens. You got Deebo Samuel coming out. The Joey, you got Minka Fitzpatrick. You got Brandon Ayuk, CMC. All the matchups. There's so much. Hayward. Mike Tomlin versus Kyle Shanahan. That right there is a matchup that I'm excited. Two coaches, X's and O Wizards. That's going to be a great matchup between these two coaches. No doubt. I got to give the Steelers their credit because Mike Tomlin has been a fantastic coach over the last 2 decades. And this is going to be fun for Kyle, right? Deontay Johnson, says Hendricks. Absolutely. Art says the drama queen SF. Absolutely. The 49ers are absolutely drama queens. You must be new to this. 49ers are the most polarizing team. The media loves the 49ers because they are content gold, whether it's good or bad. There's always drama. There's high-paid players. There's always something to talk about. The 49ers, if you don't know, they are a reality TV show better than the Kardashians. We are keeping up with the San Francisco 49ers. And I'll tell you what, this drama is top-notch quality. People love it. Why do you think there's so many 49er content creators? Because it just writes itself. It's amazing. No, everybody talks about the 49ers. All media outlets. You go out there. We are always at the top of the top, man. Always. Make the headlines, says 49ers minded. 49ers are always in the headlines, man. I mean, it's a big franchise. It's a 5-time Super Bowl champion. People are always going to be talking about this team. Chris says, if they lose week 1, will you be mad? The short answer is yes, because I want the Niners to win this weekend. But the long answer is it really depends on how the game goes. But ultimately, yeah, we all want to see this 49er team win. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'll be pissed off if they lose the game. You don't want them to lose. You play to win the game, right? You want to see this team go out there and get a dub on the road. As you know how it is if the 49ers lose. It's going to be, oh my God, media. Oh, is Purdy really the answer? They got rid of Trey. Oh, was Bosa ready? Blah, blah. You already know the stories that are going to be out there. So hopefully the 49ers take care of business, handle business. They're a Super Bowl contender. But, here's the but. If the 49ers lose, I can't be that mad because the Kansas City Chiefs lost this weekend. So kind of good, right? And it's not like the Chiefs season is doomed. Oh my God, the Chiefs are going to be terrible. Never know. Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. But, they didn't have Chris Jones. They didn't have Travis Kelce. That last night shows you just how important Travis Kelce is to the Chiefs team. Like, wow. Those receivers had butter fingers. Maybe more than butter fingers. I really think those receivers stuck their hands in grease for 3 hours before the game. And then they rolled them in lotion. And then they rolled them in cocoa butter. And then they came out to play the game because they were dropping, especially Kadarius Toney, man. That was nasty to see. They didn't look like they needed Chris Jones, but I'll tell you what, it would have helped them because I think they would have been able to get to Goff a little bit easier. They definitely needed Kelce. Hendrick says Tony cost them some money. Cost a lot of people some money. It's a statement game, says Faithful. I think every game's a statement game this year because you got to put your stamp, you got to put your foot down. We got to show people that we're an elite team. Steelers are good, right? Underrated, up-and-coming team. 49ers need to showcase that they are a Super Bowl caliber team. And I think the offense is going to be, they have been overlooked. So, Jose says, what happened to 49ers media? He's still there. He just changed his name. He changed his name, but he's still rolling. He's been on the show in the comments every once in a while. Ariel says, I don't think Kyle ever trusted any of their quarterbacks as much as he trusts Brock. I think the fans feel the same way as much as I like Jimmy. I was super nervous when he threw the ball. I think a lot of people were, right? Jimmy had the jitters. Just never knew if he was going to make the right thing. He was always due for a mistake. He did come in. He helped change the culture. They won games. We know it, da-da-da-da-da. But you're right. I don't think Kyle ever trusted him. Kyle was never, that was never his first choice. We all know Kirk Cousins was the guy Kyle wanted. He loved him in Washington. He loved him so much he drafted him even after they traded the farm for RG3. They still went and drafted Kirk Cousins that year. Crazy. That was crazy. And when he came to San Francisco as head coach, in the back of his mind, he always wanted Kirk Cousins. He has an affinity towards him. He loves that guy because he knows his system. Kirk Cousins can run the Kyle Shanahan system to perfection. That was the guy. When he was the OC at Washington, Kirk Cousins came in and he ran that system like Kyle wanted. And he knew when he got to SF, he was going to get Kirk Cousins. And it didn't work out. They didn't even call him back. He was going to offer the top pick. We all know, Kyle wanted Kirk. He couldn't get it. So he had to settle with Jimmy. They tried to get other, different veteran quarterbacks. They didn't scout quarterbacks because they thought they were going to get Kirk Cousins. Kyle was so locked in to the fact that he was going to get Kirk Cousins. He just didn't. And I don't think ever since then, he kept trying to find that next Kirk Cousins, and he could never do it. He didn't trust any of these guys. So I agree. He absolutely trusts Brock. He named him the captain. He's a leader of the clubhouse. He said he's the QB1. Months ago, he tore his UCL, and he was rehabbing, and Kyle still stood by this guy. He absolutely loves Brock Purdy, and he trusts him. And I agree. I don't think I've seen him been this gung-ho over a quarterback since Kirk Cousins. And that was many years ago. So you're right. Brock Purdy is his guy. Alex, speaking of calling back, what's your take on the 49ers not calling D-Hop? Yeah, that's a good one. We haven't talked about that really this week. Kind of a story that kind of went under the radar because Nicholas John Bosa got signed, and we've been so excited. But I did post about it a little bit on the gram. Yeah, they didn't need him. He's kind of older. Obviously, he would have been a good third receiver, an extra receiver. But D-Hop wanted to be a centerpiece. He still thinks he's a top wide receiver, top flight guy. Honestly, if I was D-Hop, I probably would have wanted to go to Kansas City, especially after watching that game last night. D-Hop, for not having the Kansas City on his list, is silly to me. If I'm D-Hop, I'm going to Kansas City, playing with Mahomes. That's neither here or there. Like, I know he wanted to go to the Niners. Him and Debo are boys. They're friends. They've trained together. Like, they are guys. So I'm sure he wanted to go to San Francisco to play next to Debo, and this offense is great, and he'd be a nice little extra piece for the 49ers. But honestly, 49ers don't need him. They have Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is about to become a huge top 5, top 10 type receiver if he continues his trajectory, and this guy is younger. He is going to become a household name. I'm thinking Brandon Ayuk goes to a Pro Bowl. If he can continue where he left off last year, they don't need D-Hop. I mean, obviously, money is one thing. They had to pay Nick Bosa. The 49ers were, their priority this offseason was Bosa. Now, whether or not they did it properly is to be determined. They waited a little bit longer, but in the end, it worked out great. Now we're hyped up. Adrenaline has been shot, and now the Nick Bosa deal is giving us this energy. But they had to focus on that. There's no way you needed any other distraction, wide receiver, anything else. Your main focus on the offseason was bringing back Nick Bosa to sign that, picking up the 5th-year option on Brandon Ayuk, and then they went and got Javon Hargrave, and that was a huge, massive signing. I think that, to me, was more important than getting another offensive player because the 49ers are loaded on offense. You only got so many, you got all these mouths to feed. You only got one ball. You got CMC, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, Kittle. You have an elite offense. I know D-Hop's a great player, but adding him here, there was no need. Again, and Brandon Ayuk, you'd be disrespecting Brandon Ayuk by bringing in D-Hop in my eyes because you're expecting Brandon Ayuk to be this absolute superstar. You need D-Hop to eat into his carries. Let BA be the guy that we want to see him be and go from there. Yeah. Shades. Team vote on captains. Yeah, we talked about captains the other day. We'll talk about the captains real quick, then I'm going to wrap it up. Captains, Brock Purdy, man. Shout out to Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant is now a captain of the 49ers. What a story. And that, again, is what, going back to what we were talking about with how Kyle trusts Brock Purdy. That is amazing. To name him the captain, it shows that the team loves him. The team respects him. This team is rallying behind Brock. Like, they trust him with their lives, man. They want to go to war for Brock. He is a leader. He took over that clubhouse, and he is poised as all hell, man. This guy is a second-year quarterback, and to be a captain is huge for the quarterback. It gives them a huge boost of confidence. That's what you need. You're supporting. You're all in on your quarterback, man. That's a franchise move right there. So Brock Purdy, Arik Armstead, year 9, the longest tenured Niner, taking over Jimmy Ward's spot. That just makes sense. I mean, he's the vet of the clubhouse. Arik Armstead, definitely captain. Fred Warner, you don't even need to talk about that. He's the captain of the defense. We all know it's Captain Fred. He's the best linebacker in the game. Obvious pick. George Kittle, I mean, he's one of the longest tenured Niners now over the last couple of years. Been here since 2017. The guy's a legend. He's a stud. He's a vocal leader in the clubhouse. Players always look up to George during the press conferences after the games. He's always like the voice of reason. Kittle's definitely a leader on and off the field. And then Trent Williams, awesome pick. I mean, he's a leader. He's a Hall of Famer. Definitely one of the best in the game. Everybody looks up to him. He teaches these guys so much. The offensive linemen look up to Trent so much. And Debo, man, I know a lot of people aren't feeling it. There's been mixed emotions on how Debo being a captain. I, for one, absolutely love Debo being a captain. This is huge for him. He's really grown as a player, grown as a leader, becoming a veteran. Last year, the money didn't come into camp the right way. It was a crazy, tumultuous season. I think he really reflected. He came in, he called himself out. He says, I was out of shape. I got better. I've been grinding. He sent pictures to Kyle with the shirt off. He was happy about him. He said, look, Kyle, man, I know I messed up last year. I'm proving myself. And he's just transformed himself. He is a different guy. He's back to his 2021, vibe. I feel like he's going to carry this team again. And Kyle loves this guy. I mean, this is the guy he drafted from day one. He followed him from the Senior Bowl. He made him a draft pick that year. And he has grown tremendously. So I think he's great. He's taken Ronnie Bell under his wing. Debo, man, to me, has become a true leader of this clubhouse. So I know a lot of people don't think he should be a captain, but I absolutely think Debo is a captain, man. On the sidelines, he's always just so vocal. He's the guy, man, and I think people look up to him. I think he's really starting to really become a good veteran for this team. He took a lot of lessons from Emmanuel Sanders, and shout out to Debo. I'm happy he got that captain badge. I mean, the thing is, the 49ers have so many good players. You could make the argument for Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, There's some great players, Hufanga, maybe Brandon Ayuk next year. A lot of good players, man. So it's a blessing to have all those good players. So we'll see. Hopefully the 49ers get this dub on Sunday. Before we leave, I want you guys to drop your predictions. What's the score? What do you guys think the score is going to be? I think it's going to be 33-17, 49ers over the Steelers. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a close game until late. 49ers emerge. They get 2 turnovers, interception. I got Hufanga, Warner, interceptions. I think the 49ers are going to run the ball. Christian McCaffrey probably get 2 touchdowns. He's going to lead the way on the ground. Brandon Ayuk, he's probably going to be saucing everybody up. Look out for Debo. It's going to be fun. 33-17, 49ers. 2 sacks by Nicholas John Bosa. Let's see what the score predictions are. We got my man Minded says 28-19 Niners. Frank Ocean says 31-27. Ooh, cutting it close. Shade says 19-17. I'm going to have cardiac arrest. Julius 33-20 Niners. Della says 27-14. Louis says 30-6 49ers beat down. Bosa 2 sacks. Kittle 2 touchdowns. I love it. Niner faithful. NTL 27-20 Niners. Ariel 35-20. Let's go. I like the score. 30-6. Holy smokes, man. A beatdown in the Steel City, huh? Matthew says 38-27 Niners. Tim Brown, 27-13. Is that the legendary Tim Brown receiver? Probably not, but that's a good name to have. 27-13 Niners. Love it. I love it. Everybody's picking the Niners. We'll see. Obviously, it's a Niner chat, so we'll see. Adams is 6-21, but he didn't pick who. Hopefully not the Steelers. We'll see. I'm excited. 33-17. That's my final answer. A Boogie says Kittle is due for a week 1 touchdown. He's never had a week 1 touchdown in his career. You're absolutely right. We found this stat out this week. And I hope Kittle gets a touchdown his first week. You're right. It'd be nice to see Kittle get that first touchdown out of the way early in the season. I hate when you have to wait for Kittle to score a touchdown. He scores in bunches, though. A lot of times. He kind of like gets them in waves. I want to see him score a touchdown this weekend. It's fun when George Kittle scores a touchdown. We'll see. We'll see. You guys have a good rest of your night. I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope we get this dub. I'll see you when I see you. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the game. Let's hope that on Monday we are here talking about Victory Monday. I love you. Have a great weekend. Go Niners. Let's get that done.